Hello, and welcome back to Bits and Bobs. Today's video is the history of the threepence. This story begins in 1551 when the first threepence was struck. This was a hammered coin, and here it is, featuring the royal shield and a long cross from each side. It depicts Edward VI with a 3 next to his head, noting that this coin is a threepence. He is crowned and there's a Tudor rose to his other side. The design stayed similar with the royal shield and a long cross, but now the date was added above the shield. As well as adding the date, the portrait of the monarch also changed from a forward-facing portrait to a side-facing portrait, a tradition that would definitely stay. There was a little break of striking threepences, but here is a Charles I threepence. He is crowned facing to the side with a 3 next to him, showing that it's a threepence. The reverse design has changed quite a lot too, with a much more intricate shield, with the French lilies above the shield and the legend around the outside. This is the Charles II threepence. He is no longer crowned, and he is facing to the side, but there's no 3, denoting that this is a threepence. And here is the reverse. We have a slightly simplified royal shield with a short cross from the sides of the royal shield and the legend around the side. Here is a James II threepence. These coins are now milled. Here's a side-facing portrait, and on the reverse we have the date above a crown above the number 3 in Roman numerals with the legend around the side. Next up are the co-monarchs, William and Mary. Here is their obverse portrait with both of them facing to the side. But on the reverse we now have the date above a crown above the number 3 with the legend around the edge. This is a design that would definitely stay on the threepence. And here we have a Queen Anne threepence. A portrait of her on the obverse, and on the reverse the date is now either side of the crown above the 3 with the legend around the side of the coin. No threepences were minted in the reign of George I, who came after Queen Anne, but in George II's reign, threepences were struck once again. Here we have a George II threepence, and on the reverse, the date either side of the crown above the 3, a little bit more of a flick in the kicker of the 3, and the legend around the outside. George III, the third George in the row, came after this. Here's his portrait, and the date either side of the crown over the 3, still the 3 having that kicker, and the legend around the outside of the coin. A lovely design. Next up was the 4th George, George IV. Here's his portrait, and on the reverse, a change. The crown is above the 3, the legend has been replaced with leaves, and the date is either side of the 3 rather than either side of the crown. A slight update to this design. William IV was next. Here's his portrait from the obverse, and on the reverse of his threepences, it's the same design. Crown above the 3, leaves around the side, and the 1837 in this case, or the date, either side of the 3, not the crown. This design was also popular. On the young head Queen Victoria coins, the reverse depicts this same design, as seen here on this 1883 threepence. On the Jubilee head, the design was not changed for the reverse of threepences. In fact, here it is, looking exactly the same, just with a change of date. And even on the veiled head, widowed head, or old head, wherever you prefer, the threepence design is still the same. A classic design at this point that had been used for ages. Now the coins of Edward VII. His threepence design, or the design on the threepences of his time, looked like this. Recognize it? That's right, the design stayed the same. By this time, the design had become iconic. Next up was George V, and on the other side of his threepences, on the reverse, yeah, that's right, the same design. It is worth noting though, in 1920, these coins were made 50% silver, no longer 925 silver. But in 1928, the design was changed. We now see 3 acorns, 3 oak leaves, the word threepence around the side, and the date at the bottom of the coin. Quite a change to the usual. Next up is George VI, and a change of design came when he took the throne. And here it is. We see an English shield inside of an English rose. The legend is back around the side of the coin, and the date is either side of the Tudor rose this time. Also in 1937, the brass threepence was released. As you can see, not a silver coin, a brass one as you may expect, much thicker and a 12-sided coin. This was the first non-round coin ever issued in the UK. So, between 1937 and 1940, in each of these years, both style of threepence was made. But in 1940, the silver threepence was stopped in production in favour of the brass threepence. It had been a long time coming, since 1551, but no silver was in threepences. Now, Queen Elizabeth took the throne, Queen Elizabeth II, and the design was changed on the brass threepences. Here we see a crowned portcullis, the date at the bottom and the words threepence on each side. And there we go, The threepence was last struck for circulation in 1967 and last struck for collectors in 1970 before being demonetised in 1971. When it was first released in 1551, threepence was equivalent to £5 today. In 1970, threepence could have got you 68 pence worth of stuff in today's money. That's what it was worth throughout those times. But thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the history of the threepence, and we'll see you next time on Bits and Bobs.